Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Website Wednesday. Teresa and I are happy to be here today. We were just, before we came live, we were talking about cleanses, the real life stuff behind the business. But I'm interested to talk about this topic today because in just the little 1 minute pre-conversation we had, I'm missing a legal document on my website. So tell us why it's important to make sure you have legal documents and which are the documents that we should be making sure we have.
So the first thing is for legally having those legal documents on your website, it protects you, your business, and your brand. All of these legal documents are going to outline the terms of use people can do, what people can do with the content on your website, who owns the content on the website. It disclaims your liability. There's so many benefits to having these legal documents. And it's one of those things a lot of people kind of overlook, or they grab something that is maybe going to work off the web for free. But it's something that you really, especially as you grow your business and you're really getting more serious and really making sure you're protecting your business, really got to protect the website aspect of it as well.
So what could happen if you don't have your legal documents on your website? Like what are the types of things people can come after you for? Or can they use your content or something like that without your permission?
They could potentially use your content. They could, I'm trying to think of good examples. They taking your content is probably the biggest one that I have heard of, but also the information that you're gathering from them as they use the website. If you don't disclaim your liability, and that's another one. So having that privacy policy clearly stating what you do, all of those things. I mean, there's a lawyer would be a better one to answer that question. I just know that it's one of those things like having insurance. Like you don't want to fully dive into the world of insurance, but you want to protect yourself.
Right. So, okay. So let's talk about the three legal documents that should be on your website as a link. I know I have them all the way at the bottom. I have a privacy policy. So let's talk about the privacy policy.
All right, so the privacy policy, this is going to really clearly define what information you gather from the people utilizing your website and how you're going to use that information. So if you have a contact form, what information are you taking from them and how do you use that information? If you have an opt-in form where they're opting into your newsletter, what information are you doing? Do you have cookies on your website? Those kind of things, which you're going to probably have cookies on your website. But it tells people exactly what's going on in that sense and how that information is used by you and your business in order to operate the business.
Okay, so that's the privacy policy. Everyone should have one linked at the bottom, at least, of every single page, which is where it's in the footer. That's where mine is. And it describes how I will use the information for people who come to my website, how I use their information. Okay.
Absolutely. And this one is even more important than it was before because now we have the new laws in Europe, the GDPR laws guiding that. So if you work with anybody in the European nations, you've got to have this privacy policy in place because it can prevent you from being able to operate in those companies. And now just recently, Brazil has passed some new privacy laws as well. And I don't think that that's the end of those privacy laws on a country level. So if you operate outside of the United States or outside of the country that you're in right now with Europe or Brazil or anything, you've got to have those things in place.
Okay. And the next one I have is terms and conditions.
Yes. So terms and conditions, it can also be terms of service, terms of use. And this is one that really more clearly defines how your website, how you use the information on your website. It also clearly states that by using the website, they have accepted your privacy policy and the terms and conditions of your website. And it outlines the visitor's obligation when using the website. So this really comes into play of their obligation not to steal your content, not to use your site for anything inappropriate. So backlinking inappropriate sites that are like pornography or gambling or anything like that. It tells people legally you cannot do that because I have this term of use in here. And by you using my site, you have agreed not to do any of those inappropriate activities.
Oh, that's an important one because people steal stuff all the time and make it their own.
And the backlinks, a lot of people don't think about this, but those comments that have start showing up on websites and they say, this is really great content, I will bookmark your site, is probably somebody backlinking to an inappropriate website that is giving them an SEO boost and doing nothing for you whatsoever.
I get those emails every day.
You get a lot of those comments.
I get a lot of those comments. I get a lot of those emails every day. I just delete them all.
Yeah.
But as you told me one time, when you start getting more of those, that means your website is getting more visibility. I mean, it's Google is doing its job and getting my information out there, but then it also gets it out there to people who I don't necessarily want. So the terms and conditions is really important for everyone to have. Okay. Now there's a third one that I don't have. What is that one?
And that's the website disclaimer. And that's more of a basic document. And it's a lot simpler. It's not near as long. It's not near as detailed. But with the website disclaimer, it first of all disclaims your liability. If somebody goes and takes your advice and their business bombs, you're not liable for that. But it lets users know that they're accepting this term, they're accepting their own liability by using your website. And if they don't want to accept those terms, don't use the website. Like, you have to get off. Pulling. So it's a simpler version kind of that terms of use, but it's still a very important one that they recognize because it gets to the point more quicker when it comes to disclaiming your liability and asking your visitors to use their own best judgment when it comes to taking any advice that you share on your website.
Okay, you mentioned that sometimes we need a lawyer, obviously, to give us all the horror stories that could happen if you don't have these things, which is fine. And I might pursue that because I'm curious myself. But I think you did a great job of describing what each do for us.
Mm-hmm.
But if you up a website on Squarespace or WordPress, do they automatically provide these templates? And are there any standard templates safe enough to use, or should you still go through them with a fine-tooth comb and make sure they apply to you and your business?
So WordPress gives you a very general privacy policy that they implemented this when the GDPR laws were passed in Europe. So there is a very generic policy, not one that I would consider good enough. But there are sources out there. You can go to like LegalZoom or Rocket Lawyer. LawTog is another one. While it kind of goes for photographers, it has some really great templates that I think anybody with an online business can utilize. And so I'll have a blog post I'll post in the comments here when we're done that has those links. So you can get those templates for relatively inexpensively online from one of these sources, around anywhere from $200 to $1,000, depending on who you decide to go with. But the one thing that all of these things have in common is that they highly encourage you to have them reviewed by your legal representative. So you may save a little money not having your lawyer draw up the documents, but they still want you to have them reviewed by a lawyer.
Okay. All right. Good information. All right. So everyone go look at your website. Make sure you have your privacy policy, your terms and conditions, and your disclaimer. Is that the third one?
Yep. Website disclaimer. Yep.
Website disclaimer. And if you don't, you need to pursue looking into that to make sure that you are covered. And you're right. It's like insurance policies. You can sit there and go, it'll never happen to me. It's no big deal. I've never heard anyone personally it's ever happened to. But then that'll be the day that it's happening to you.
To you. Yep.
So better to be protected than to take things for granted. Okay. And what I love too, we have added to my Profit Insiders for Interior Designers group training program, which we're rolling out another group starting in September, the beginning of September. Teresa is doing a website review for everyone who is in that new group coming in. So if you're interested in being part of the next group, Profit Insiders for Interior Designers, where I teach you how to run a profitable business, we cover everything related to my profit puzzle from who's your ideal client, setting a plan, content creation. It's just everything. It's sales, it's marketing, it's profitability, it's confidence. I throw in body language. And website review is now part of it, along with your social media review by Kim. So thank you for doing that, Teresa, for my
Pleasure.
next group. And tell everyone how they can find you and what you're doing lately. What's your exciting news?
So you can find me at webdesignsbyteresa.com. And I guess exciting news right now is the website blueprint, where you get to have somebody do the website with you, because there's a lot of people who want to do their own website to save money. And I totally get that. That's how I started off in web design, but it's really overwhelming and frustrating sometimes. And so with the website blueprint, you have somebody there with you, supporting you, helping you, providing you with assistance, with videos, with one-on-one support to get your website up and launched in no time. And everyone is launched in less than 3 weeks.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah.
That is amazing. And the way they start that is getting on the phone with you to make sure they're a good candidate for that product. So they're not jumping in and purchasing something that they're really not ready for, correct?
Exactly. Because there's things you want to do to get ready for this. Like you want to start putting your content together. You want to start knowing what you need in a website. And so having a quick conversation with me, 15 minutes, like I can get you on track to make sure that you have everything you need to do that. And just to get it up and going quickly. But yeah, they can schedule with me at webdesignsbyteresa.com/consult.
Okay, and Madeline is asking to share again the names of the 3 legal documents she needs for her website.
Okay, that is the website disclaimer, the privacy policy, and the terms of use or terms of service. And I will post a blog link here in just a little bit, Madeline, that has those listed out, as well as those resources online to get those documents if you want to do some research.
Perfect. All right, everyone. So that, oh, where'd my text on screen go? Oh, here it is. That was Website Wednesday for everybody. We will see you next week. For those of you who are members of my membership site, 100% of Website Wednesdays, Money Talk Tuesday, and Marketing Monday videos are all in my membership site, accessible in its own area so that you can go backwards rather than scrolling back in the group and trying to find them. Anyone who's a member of my membership site gets automatic access to all of them, all in one place, which makes it so easy. So, all right, everyone, have a great Wednesday, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Teresa.
Thank you.